So in this video today, I'm going to show you how to do multiple file uploads in Livewire. I got a lot of comments on my last video where I did a file upload saying they want to see how they can do multiple file uploads. So in this video, I'm not going to show you how to do multi-select of file uploads, but rather what we are trying to do here is something like add file, right? So I'll show you the flow. If I go into add event, let's say I fill up the form, and now I have the ability to select or rather add as many files as I want. So I can select this. Let's say I select the banner again. One more. And one more. So 3 files I had selected. Now I hit save. Now if I go to this event again, you can see I can see all the 3 files. The banner is there and I can click on them to see the actual file. So this is what we are going to try and develop in the video. First thing, PHP artisan, make model. Okay, I need the migration and model / download. Okay, so I should have my model in place. Inside models, I have download. Set this property. Okay, it belongs to an event, and the event has many downloads. So this relationship is done. In our migrations, we need 3 fields. Okay, so we will have event ID, path, and the file name. Okay, so these are the 3 things which we will need in the downloads file. Okay, so with that done, I think we can close these things and we will look at our event add form. So the first thing that we would like to do is introduce 2 new properties, public fields and downloads. Okay, so the fields will be a counter which will let me know how many fields are there in the download section. Okay, we had banners, right? So similarly we'll have downloads, and then we will initialize these values to certain things on mount. So I'll set the banner to null. First of all, that was something which I should have done in my previous video. Then I'll have downloads set to empty, and this dot fields equals 1. All right, one more fix which I think I had missed earlier was, when I'm sending this event banner to handle file upload, right, I was checking for event banner, which is the wrong thing. It will give you an unset undefined index issue. It should have been this, if this banner not equals null, and that's the reason I had done a null on the mount. Okay, so yeah, I have these 2 fields, and with this, why don't we try to render the fields in our component blade file. So I have this form group in here which is for the banner to get uploaded. Why don't we add some markup as well to handle the form display. Okay, so I have a row in which I have divided that row into 2 columns. So okay, call md6. I have this downloads, and then what I have done is I have iterated over the field's size and have created those many input fields. Every input field on change will emit an event. This is a Livewire event which the component will fire using JavaScript to and basically that event we will handle on the PHP file and add our functionality to it. So that's done. And then we have a button which says add field. So if I go over here, I'll add this functionality, add field. What will that add field do? This fields equals this fields plus 1. And now what basically we will have is, if I click here, you can see I get this. Okay, so I'm able to add as many fields as I want. All right, now we are already emitting an event in here, right? So we need to write a little bit of JavaScript to handle that event. This event, because it's an on change, right? We will get the event object inside the handler. So app.js inside our resources folder. So we have turbolink start. Then basically what I'm trying to do is on document ready, right? When the document is ready, we will add a listener for that event which is being fired. So document dot on ready state change, when that is triggered, if that at that time, if the document ready state is equal to complete, right? If that's the case, then basically we have a document dot ready. We are not using any JavaScript, jQuery. So this is the vanilla way of doing things. So on window dot Livewire, you need to be careful about the L. There is a Livewire with capital L and there is one with small l. So we need to use the small l. If you see inside console window dot, we have a Livewire and there is one which is small l, which is the object. So we are going to use that. Okay, so on this I'll click on the event name. Okay, and let's just say we'll have a try catch. So we need to read the file which is coming from the file field. So let file equals event.target.files 0th index. If we get this, right, why don't we initially do a console.log as well? Okay, just to get things what we have. And then to read that file, we will create a reader, which is a file reader, JavaScript's API. And in that reader, we will look for an event which is on load end. Okay, this event is available, and on that, what we are saying is window.livewire.emit. One more function, file upload end, and we'll send this data where we have the data which is reader.result. Okay, this will be the base 64 encoded data of the file, and we'll send the file name as well, which will be file.name. We'll show you that this is available. So what we are saying is, once the reader onload event is triggered, we will fire this. Okay, so this is again one more event handler which we have added, and then finally we do reader.read data as URL file. Okay, so we added the listener and then we told reader to read the file, so that this listener is ready when the file read is complete. So let's look at what we have done. I'll refresh once more, and if you see, I select one file and it gives me the file object. Okay, and obviously this will be available to us. So now we have so we have this emit in here. This event is not being captured by anyone, which we need to do inside our Laravel Livewire component. So inside Livewire, if you want to handle certain events, like we have event subscriber, right? Event service provider. If you see, we have this array called listen. In this, when there is an event of this class, this is the listener which will get triggered, right? So similarly, we have an API here which says listeners, it's an array, where if I have this event, I will have, let's say, what do we name this? Handle add, handle file uploaded maybe. Okay, so on that event, I will trigger a function called handle file uploaded. So let's add that function. So in this, we will get the file because we are sending that, if you remember, right? This is the event and this is the data which we will have. We will have a data key and we have a file name key. And this we will append to this downloads. And then we unset $file just to keep the memory in check, because the entire file is actually a base64 string which is sitting in your memory. Okay, so this is done. Now what is basically going to happen is if we log this not downloads, right? It's going to be quite a long video. So I'll just refresh the page in here, and if I select a file, okay, this is triggered, and in here we get the downloads array which has the data property with the base64 string and the file name. Okay, so this is done. Now we need to handle the submit. In submit, we don't care whether it is an edit or a create. Okay, if once the event is done, right? Okay, let me do this event equals this, because we will need the event ID. So once the event is created or it is edited, after that we will handle our downloads files. So we'll have a condition if count this downloads greater than 0. So if there is anything in my downloads, then this handle download function will be called, which obviously is not present. I'll add that. ADS. I'll change it here as well. Okay, so this function will be triggered. So what do we do in here? The first thing which we will do is we will iterate through the downloads. So for each, we will be getting certain information from the base64 data. So we need to process that string first. So I'll create a service first of all, file helper services. Oops. So file helper will have a function public get file info. I'm expecting a file, and let's just make it static for now, and we will be easily able to handle it. So what does this function do? This function will basically get the base64 encoded data, and it will return me certain variables, certain information from that string. So I have some ready-made code picked up from Stack Overflow. So these are the variables which we will have. Download file, this will be my base64 string, file meta, MIME type, file type, and extension. Okay, so this is what I am doing in my try catch. Okay, the base64 string, then we get the MIME type by exploring the delimiter and getting the first part of it. So if you see, right, so this is the image type. Okay, so those things are available. That's basically what these functions are doing. But the most important thing is I'm getting the extension. Okay, I'm getting the data and I'm getting the extension. That is something which we want. So info is equal to file helper. I'll send $download, and I need to send the base64 data, so data is the key. Okay, why is that? Because if you remember, we were pushing the file inside the downloads, and the file was in this structure. The data is the base64 data and the file name, right? So that's why we did this. Okay, let's come over here again. So info, and then we will have a variable called file name as well, which is, let's say, $download file name. We already have that file name, but we will also make it a little unique. So string random 5, we'll have random 5 digits, and then extension, so dot file name, sorry, not file name, info, and the file extension, right? This is the key which we will use. So with this done, why don't we have a try catch where we do path equals public. So we were storing the banners inside. I think I should have already a lot of files, so I'll just delete them. So I have banners and downloads, right? So inside public I will have downloads, and then I have my file name. So this is my path. Add the catch exception $e. Okay, so this is done. I have my path. Why don't we do storage put? This is pure Laravel path, and then $info. This is decoded file. Okay, and once that is done, we need to have the entry in the downloads table. So we have event ID, which is this event ID. We have path. Okay, so we have these fields added, so we should be able to create that entry, and the file will be stored as well. So let's just get started. So I'll just refresh again. What happened? The file is available. So rm download database.sqlite, and then if I do mrs, I have things in place. Refresh. Right, so let me fill up the form and try. I have this as banner, so my preview is working. And let's just say, first of all, we will upload only one file. Let's just try it out. So save. Okay, so far so good. I have one entry in here in my downloads. Event also has its banner entry, so this is fine. Let's look at the files. Do I have them? I have downloads. Yeah, this is there, and I have the screenshot uploaded for download as well. So I think the files are getting uploaded, right? However, in view we are not able to see them. So how do we do that? Let's go to web.php. Right, so I have controller, event controller. Right, in here what I will do is I'll add the relation downloads. Okay, and so with this, what I should be able to do is, inside this blade file, okay, what is happening is, this is where I'm loading the event, right? Page event register, and the event register we we are loading the relationship of events, right? And in here, so as I said, if I, what is happening? Yeah, if, sorry, events downloads, if I have this property, then I'll try to loop through that. Another if is set. So for each event so in here we will show the download file name, and the link will be path. Okay, and because this is an li, so like so, and let's see if I refresh. Okay, all right, so this, there was a typo which I have fixed. I'm sorry, I took a lot of time to figure that out, but anyway, so we'll create one more event, just to try things from scratch. Add this banner, and first of all we'll hit save and see if we are getting that. Yes, the banner is here, and the YouTube subscriber link is available in here as well. Now let's try to upload multiple. So I'll select this link, a screenshot, the banner again, and the fourth file, let's just say it is an action, right? So this 4 files are added. I hit save, files are uploaded, and we get the list. So you see, this is how we are able to do it. Now let's quickly recap on what we have done so that we get everything refreshed. So the first thing is we added these two public properties which were which are treated as variables to use in the form. The field is a counter which we are setting to 1, downloads is empty by default, and then we inside our blade file we render them. We come over here, so I have this for loop. Every input field is set to emit this event when the file is selected. So the on change event of JavaScript is fired. Okay, this is being listened or triggered through this piece of code, right? We wait for document.ready. On document.ready, we assign this event listener to Livewire. So we are saying Livewire.on, when this event is fired, this piece of code will be executed. What is happening here? We take the file object from the event target files, right? If the file exists, I'll remove this console. If this file exists, then we initiate the reader. We add one more event listener which says that reader.onloadEnd. When the entire file is read, you send that data to Livewire using the emit function. Now the emit function we can read inside our PHP file using this listener property. So we are defining that when this event is being listened by the component, this particular event should be fired. So what does that do? That gets the file object and it is assigning it here. Why don't we also unset $file? Okay, because we don't need the file object anymore. So once that is done, we get the file in our downloads, and then on submit, what we have done is, once everything is done, right, in terms of creating the event or updating the event, we trigger this function that if my downloads has anything, if the array has more than 0 proper elements, We handle this function. We come over here. Now we loop through each download elements. We get the information from the file helper in terms of the extension, the file names and all, right? We do put that in the storage. We create an entry, and that's about it. And then this piece of code is responsible for showing the list of things. In the event controller, we added this relationship. So yeah, that's how we have handled the file upload. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.